Okay, so I have started and stopped this video 13 times because I am that nervous and scared to make this video. You know, in the past, I've definitely not been scared of speaking against powerful people or people with more influence, money, resources, etc. than frankly I'd ever hoped to have. But for some reason, in this instance, I most definitely am, which probably tells you something. And to be frank, as I'm sitting here, tells me that this is probably the exact right thing to do. If I'm this scared to do it, then I probably should be doing it. The idea of doing this video is something that I've gone back and forth on and that has weighed very heavily on my conscience for about a month, preceding a very disturbing FaceTime call I had with Jeffree Star, who this video is about, as well as other people this video is going to be about as well, which I'll bring in. I was put in a very bad position by Jeffree Star that I don't feel like I deserve to be in, to where I was told things that I'm either silent about and then therefore in a way complicit with some really messed up crap, or I speak about and then put my shit on the line. And I don't feel like it's fair for me to be in that position. And I finally broke yesterday and talked to my childhood best friend about this. And I said, should I be talking about this? I'm scared. She said very plainly, and she's very removed from YouTube and YouTubers and this whole up world. And she was very honest and said, if this is the right thing to do, if this is where your heart is, then there's no other question. All the consequences, this person having, influence or power or whatever, it doesn't matter. If it's the right thing to talk about, it's the right thing to talk about. So I'm just gonna do it. So contrary to what I think some people think, I have never met Jeffree Star. We are not friends. He had me blocked for many years on Twitter because I was critical of some of his very bad behavior. And a year ago, if you guys remember, when he launched some accusations against James Charles, specifically that James Charles is a sexual predator, I was live saying that Jeffree was a mess for that because he's refusing to provide receipts for that claim. He was promising to provide them and then backed off and said, I don't want any part of the drama. Here is my opinion. Jeffree has no receipts. I think Jeffree was loving the downfall of James, and now that it's backfiring, he wants to dip out. And I keep saying you can't put your toe in and then your toe out. He didn't put a toe in. He like body slammed his way in, tried to ruin this kid's life. And now he's saying, I'm in a really bad place. It's a really dark place for me. And I don't want to do this. And first of all, sexual predation is not drama. As a rape survivor, I don't feel that it's drama. So I need to be specific about how he came into contact. He reached out to me via DMs on Twitter. And the reason he reached out to me is because of this. And please keep this in mind because I'm going to come back to this later. I typed out Jeffree's first name in response to someone on Twitter, a reply tweet, not a main feed tweet, saying, I'm thinking about doing a video specifically about Jeffree's involvement with Davi Vanity because it's really shady. He then was in my DMs with a quickness to, in my opinion, put out a fire. He didn't want my video to be made, so he came in my DMs, requested a FaceTime. We most definitely FaceTimed. And this, by the way, this video is not about Davi Vanity, okay? This is just a backdrop of how we came into contact, and I have to be specific about that. And basically, he manipulated me into not going forward with my video, said that a bunch of the things that were out there were fabricated. A lot of the receipts I planned on using were fabricated, was very convincing about it. And then a few days later, went on Chris Hansen, went back on all of that, and basically showed himself to lie to me. He said a lot of the things were fake, and then went back and said they were real on Chris Hansen. But again, that is just point A. This is not the point of this video. That's how he came into contact. So, however the conversation proceeded, it got to him asking me, so what's your opinion of James Charles? And keep in mind, a year ago, he called James Charles a predator and then refused to back it up with the receipts he promised he had. I told him my honest view, which is one that I was public with a year ago when it happened, and said, I felt like if you were going to call him a predator and promise that you had the receipts, you should have proven it and you should have provided those receipts and you shouldn't have tried to back out of it. I didn't feel that was right. He said, okay, I respect it, but do you want to know the truth? And this is the point where I wish I would have said no, in a way, but in a way not. He then provided me with receipts of a voice memo from a YouTuber who was allegedly sexually molested by James Charles. And it's credible. It's a YouTuber. It's credible. It is not my place to out this YouTuber's name at all. I have privately reached out to this YouTuber and said, hey, I'm a rape survivor myself because I am. And I should never have been told this, but I want to let you know it's okay to go public with your story. It's okay to be heard, or even just to talk to me if you need to, because I am a survivor myself. So I'm in shock after being given this information by Jeffree, and then Jeffree proceeds to tell me, James will never attack me because I have this on him. I have shit on everyone, which he has said publicly before. I have shit on everyone.
Because I have dirt on everyone, and they know to keep their mouths shut.
I don't view something like this as gossip that you hold over someone's head or whatever. This is something serious. This is a crime. And just the fact that he's blackmailing people with this is disgusting. And the fact that I am expected to hold on to this information as well. And just the shocking fact that this is our first interaction ever and he's telling me this, I'm like, how many other people know this and have heard this voice memo and know that this is the truth? What? You know what I'm saying? Like, if this is my first interaction with you and you feel comfortable enough to tell me this, thinking that I'm just going to be in on this little game and complicit and he. No. That's something serious. And yes, it did take me a month to do this video, but that's because I have been scared. This is something serious. And I want to be very clear, this is not my place to out this person, you know, the victim's name, because this is clearly their story to tell. But you guys have to understand the position I'm in. If I receive credible information that a very famous, very powerful YouTuber is a sexual molester or predator, but am I complicit with helping cover up for a predator by not saying that at least that much is true? That's the battle that's been going on in my head. And that's why I reached out to this person privately, the alleged victim, and offered my support. And I highly encourage them to go public. I highly encourage them to tell their story, because one thing I learned from the years it took me to speak up about my own instance of rape is that one thing that's very hard for me to personally live with is knowing that there might have been people after me that were victimized by the man who hurt me because I didn't want to say anything. And if you think it couldn't get any worse, it most definitely does. Jeffree then revealed to me someone else, a very famous YouTuber, who, yeah, I'll use the word raped someone. Did he provide me with receipts of that one? No. Do I personally think it's credible? Yes. And part of the reason why I'm doing this video is to come to you guys and ask, if you guys know this information, what would you do with it? Because I don't know. I don't think I can go to the police on someone else's behalf. I'm scared to say names. I'm scared to reveal what I know. But at the same time, how do I hold on to it knowing there's more victims potentially? If someone's just getting away with it. Like, where does that leave me as a person? What would you do if you were made privy to certain information about certain people that are out here every other day, like, you know, getting money and sponsorships and accolades and public, you know, adoration? What do I do? And one of the reasons I definitely decided to do this video and made me so sick is that Jeffree went on a podcast recently and teased this same receipt, the same voice memo from the YouTuber who was allegedly sexually molested by James Charles to FaZe Banks and Keemstar.
So if you want, we can pause and I can go in another room and play Banks what I have on my phone, and he can determine if he would have sent the same tweet.
So you're running around telling these people like it's hot, fun, gossip, whatever. And like I said before, it's not to me. It's serious to me. And you may have every other one of these YouTubers as your little puppet and you're in their ear doing whatever. I'm no one's puppet. You can't put the battery in my back. You can't silence me. I know you've paid to silence people. You can't silence me. And I'm just not going to be that person. Especially not if you're going to make me aware of crimes and then be like, keeping me in on this little secret. Like, no. I'm sorry, no. A lot of people I know are afraid of Jeffree Star. Jeffree Star has a lot of people by the balls. Let's just be honest. A lot of people have Jeffree in their ear constantly, in their DMs, trying to manipulate them or get them to run with certain stories. He's paying off people for silence. He's paying people to say certain things. Never me. But I'm just disgusted that he expected me to be one of these people that he can just drop these disgusting bombs on, and I'm supposed to be like, funny tea, funny gossip. It's really not. The stuff that Jeffree does behind the scenes, manipulating people. I know so many people who have told me, Jeffree's in my DMs trying to get me to say this or do this or that. I don't know why he trusted me to be one of his little pawns, but I'm really not that bitch. Recently, the owner of the clothing brand Dolls Kill fell into some really heavy backlash and controversy, I think for posting a pro-police thing during all the protests and riots. Bella, be quiet. It's my dog. And wherever you fall in terms of that whole debate, that's separate. But regardless, this brand owner was getting a ton of backlash. The whole world was coming down on them, comment sections, everything. And in this person's moment of weakness, Jeffree decided to DM them saying this: "Hope you have a beautiful morning and get a rubber bullet in the middle of your f***ing head." Who says that? That is disgusting. That is monstrous. That is seeing someone in pain and wanting to compound on that pain. Who says, "I hope you get a rubber bullet"? Like, who says I'm holding blackmail against James Charles for sexual predation? Who says, by the way, this person raped someone, but keep it quiet, Blaire? What? I know Jeffree feels like he can play with it, and maybe he feels like all these YouTubers are in his back pocket and everyone's scared of him. And you know what? I was scared. And even making this video right now, I'm scared. When I go to hit the upload button, I'm gonna be scared. But I'm gonna upload it and I'm gonna post it. One other thing. I recently posted on my Instagram story, basically like alluding to the fact that I wanted to do this video. And here's what's very important about my Instagram. Jeffree does not and has never followed me there. However, within minutes of me posting this story, or I didn't even tag him just like before, he was FaceTiming me. I didn't answer because I didn't want him in my head again, and I didn't want to be manipulated again. Okay? So I just think it's kind of weird that, I don't know if he pays someone to monitor people's social media that he's like worried about or trying to control or whatever, but for him to FaceTime call me within minutes of me posting this on my story when he wasn't tagged and doesn't follow me, and that, keep in mind, that's how he contacted me the first time on Twitter. I typed his first name in response to someone. That's crazy to me. That's sociopathic, that's controlling, that is trying to, again, use people as your puppet. This last month of being scared to say all this was not healthy for me. I was disgusted with myself, and it's over. Period. So to answer what I think will be an important question, I did not record, because I'm not a grimy bitch, the FaceTime call. So the evidence that was made clear to me about James Charles's victim, I don't personally have on my phone because I'm not entering a FaceTime call with someone, setting a screen record or screenshotting or whatever, okay? And you are going to have to take into account that he has teased this to FaZe Banks, to Keemstar. Go ask them if they've heard the voice memo. For real. And also take into consideration what I would gain by lying about this, because there's literally nothing. If it came out that I made up this crazy elaborate bullshit story about what he told me, pretty sure it would ruin my life for lying about something this crazy. So believe me or don't believe me, but that's all I can say is my truth and what happened in this scenario. So in closing, I just want to say I have reached out to the victims that I have been made aware of by Jeffree, offered my own personal support, and offered my encouragement of them going public. All I know is my opinion and experience with Jeffree, who I believe tried to manipulate the fuck out of me, is blackmailing people on topics of sexual predation, in my opinion needs help, and is far from a healthy, stable, good person. And I just don't want to be one of those people anymore that is scared to speak against Jeffree Star. Done. See you guys in the next video. Oh, and if my body's found dead in a ditch somewhere, it's Jeffree Star. Hey guys, so I just filmed this video, get off, start editing, look at my phone, social media for the first time all day, and I see a lot of stuff coming out about Shane Dawson, with the Smith family angry over him making inappropriate jokes about Willow Smith when she was underage, and just like a lot of very questionable humor and statements that I hope are humor. And I'm opening my DMs and I'm seeing a lot of people asking me to address it, for the simple fact that it is public knowledge that I'm friends with Shane. I think my most viewed video ever is with Shane on my channel. obviously I'm going to be asked by my entire subscriber base to address that, because that's my friend, and how can I have a channel where I, go after like predatory behavior and predators and not address that that's coming out about someone that is a friend. And I just have to say that I most definitely don't condone any of that. I wasn't aware that that was a thing, that those jokes were a thing, that those statements by him were a thing. They go beyond the limit, and you guys know I am the first one to be like, it's comedy, stop being so offended. Some of the things are just way too far, and if no one's laughing, then it's not really a joke. So, as hard as it is, and as much as I feel like a very intense loyalty to Shane, because he's done so much for me, and he was one of the first people to give me a chance, and one of the reasons why people even know my name. How can I have a channel going after predators and about predatory behavior and not disavow that? So I just want to make it completely clear that I would have addressed that in, the prior filming that I did for this video, but it was happening and coming out on Twitter literally as I was filming it. And I am most definitely going to say I don't condone it, that I completely disavow it, and it'd be very hypocritical for me to be silent on that. And honestly, I'm done being caught up in anyone's f***ing shit right now. Like, I'm done being the ear for psychopathic Jeffree Star. It happened once and it was too much for me. I am done, having this impenetrable loyalty to people who get themselves into messes and then I have to address it, and no. I'm over it. I just want to go back to making the videos that I make. It was very hurtful to see the stuff coming out about Shane as someone who is an advocate for survivors, and I kind of can't even believe it. So that's what I have to say about that, because I know that if I don't put that in here, that's going to definitely be, and rightfully so, a very, I don't know how to have the type of channel I do and just pretend like that's not coming out about him right now, and that he's not deeply involved in all this stuff I talked about too. So that's just that on that. It's very sad. It's very ugly. Bye, guys.